Hello and welcome to Hops and Bros. This week we're talking science.
Yeah, super science, like the tests that sometimes you fail when you do science. But in brewing, you need to pass them, right?
For an open window on the crowded world, Max and Chris from Hops and Brews. Welcome to Hops and Bros. Yeah.
Alright, so this week we're going to be talking science. And in beer, there's a lot of science that's involved, a lot of different things. On our brew day, Chris got a chance to see a couple of the tests that we do, and a couple other ones that I'm going to talk about later that are a little more specific to either macros or just people who really want consistency in their beer. Process and consistency is key in making a product that's consistent across the board.
Yeah.
So Chris, what kind of tests did you see when we brewed?
That's where the idea of this video kind of like came in, because usually when we do a Craft Beer 101, now that Max has like a shitload of knowledge, then he just asked me, what do you want to know this week? So basically, I am the source of Craft Beer 101s now. Max has the knowledge, and I'm just
100%.
100%, right?
I am not creative when it comes to ideas for shows, but I'm happy to talk for hours, as a lot of you know. So yeah, it is what it is. So
it's always great. So one of the main reasons I had main ideas was we did a bunch of tests when we did the brew day, and I was always impressed of like how everyone except me knew what they were doing, and I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that and see like how important those tests are for a consistent brew and also an end product that tastes very good, just like the Hops and Bros version 2, which is seriously amazing, guys. But first test we did was that weird thing we did with the base malt juice mixing up with a liquid that's dark and trying to blend it together to another brown color.
So I'm assuming you mean to say the iodine test.
Yes, can you explain that? Because I don't understand what you just said.
So iodine before was used as a not a sterilizer, but a sanitizer for some reason. It's got this kind of brownish tint, as you said, but iodine also reacts with starch. That's why in the brewing industry, when we're doing our mash, every couple minutes after we've reached the temperatures and the conversion, or we think we've reached conversion, we do a little test. So you add the iodine to the wort, and you see a reaction or a non-reaction, letting you know that you're done, you're good to go, transfer to your kettle, or no, let it rest for a little longer, you still haven't converted all your sugars, all your starches to sugars.
Okay. And
that's basically the test.
Is this test like really tightly related to the lightsaber one you guys did with the light, you know, the little lightsaber thing, you guys? Is it related?
I'm assuming you mean the Vorloff?
I think so.
What do you mean, a lightsaber one? I've got no idea what you're talking about. What was the thing?
It looks like a tiny lightsaber, and you put some liquid on, like at one end, and then you look through the light.
Oh, that's the.
I think it's gravity.
The refractometer.
It's
a refract. So we look at gravity. In the beer industry, we use gravity and Play-Doh to be able to kind of figure out how much sugar has been converted or how much sugar is in your liquid, basically.
Okay.
The way refract work is by refracting light on the sugar molecules, and it gives you a number. In the wine industry, they work in bricks. So there's kind of one brick is equal to one Play-Doh, basically.
Okay.
So Play-Doh's beer, bricks is wine. Huh. Kind of a crude way of explaining it. There's more that goes into it, but that's the anyways.
That's for another show, I guess.
A lightsaber looking thing. That's hilarious.
It looks like tiny lightsabers.
What else you need to know?
It looks like tiny lightsabers. I don't know. Like I'll insert the thing right here. Like you guys can look at it. It looks like a tiny lightsaber. I don't know why.
I mean, you're not wrong. It really does look like a lightsaber. I feel like you're not. Yeah, it could be.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong on that end. What other tests did we did? We did some pH tests, I think, on the mash. if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you check pH. So, your enzymes are going to work better at a certain pH, usually around 5.2 to 5.4. So you check your mash pH to make sure you're in that area. If you're not, usually you're going to readjust by adding acid to it, basically to lower that pH. Or you can also add acid malt, which is kind of the Reinheitsgebot way around the problem, because with the Reinheitsgebot you can only have 4 ingredients in beer, which is water, malt, hops, and yeast, so you can't really add any adjuncts. By using acidulated malts, you can lower your pH further without using those. It's also why in England and in Ireland and those countries, they kind of migrated towards darker beers. Darker roasted kiln malts usually have a higher rate of acidity, so it lowers your pH naturally. In hard waters, it's very important. Now, when it comes to lagers and beers like that, they usually use softer water, and you don't have those acidity in lighter malts. So you have to find ways around it if you have an acidity problem.
That's mostly all the questions I have for the brew day we had, but one other thing we wanted to add.
Yes, so
you have a special thing.
I do. Those are kind of tests you do during your brew day. There's a couple other things you can do, but that's kind of the basic ones. What I wanted to kind of dive into, some weird tests that have happened historically. So, in the brewing industry, most of what we have in modern days was invented by homebrewers. I mean, the Warloff system is a Canadian invention, which was purely by accident. And there's a lot of other examples of evolution in the brewing industry that's just basically, we have to do this. We have this problem. Let's try to figure it out, and then, boom, find a solution. And now there's other tests that have been performed by macrobreweries, such as foam tests, to check out how much foam a beer has, which you don't really think about it when you're drinking your beer. But foam is really important. It's one of the most important things. Let's go back to the Reinheitsgebot in Germany. Your foam on the beer should be able to hold, I think it's a quarter or whatever, on it for a couple seconds before it drops down. It's crazy. Foam is super important in beer. In North America, it really got lost. There's really a mix in cultures when it comes to this, where in England for a while, if you had a lot of foam on a beer, they thought you're kind of cheaping them out, because I didn't have my full 20 ounces because there was this amount of foam on it, which kind of brought its way to America in the same way, where a lot of people think that they're being screwed over if the beer doesn't go all the way to the top, when it shouldn't. Foam is important to beer. It's crucial. It's essential. It protects your beer. It's also a sign of good quality beer. So anyways, foam very important.
But
another test they do.
The test for the foam is the quarter thing, or it's like there's a very specific test.
No, it's completely different. So basically, it's the best test for that is just pour yourself a pint after your shift, look at it, and go, that's good foam, whatever. It's the best way to do it. Because the other test is really you take a graduated cylinder, you pour your beer in, and then you measure how much foam. And then you keep on doing that a couple times, and you get data. But it's very dependent on who's doing the test, what equipment they're using, what's the process, what's the angle, what's the velocity. Just, is there good foam or not?
Okay, that's simple. But you have another weird one, which it's curious.
Another weird one that I saw the other day. It was really cool, and it kind of is mainly why I wanted to make this video. And I wanted to find other wacky tests. I couldn't, but I found this one, the cooler test. So Labatt, Molson, they have this test for adhesive on their labels, where they will put bottles of their products in a nice cooler, and then every hour or every couple minutes check it to make sure that it's still on. Which is, again, something really stupid you don't really think about when you're drinking beer while you're camping. But I've had the situation where we put all our beers in the cooler, and the next morning you get up and they're all gone. And it's like, well, what beer am I drinking? I guess it's just like a crapshoot.
Which is what?
Which I thought was really interesting, that they actually test to see how long it's going to stay on.
It's.
Anyways,
I think it's probably related to labels a little bit. Then if you get some effective labels that stays for like 2 days, then
it's 100% label. And it's how much money can we save by still being brand friendly kind of deal. Which I thought was
That's
interesting.
cool. That's dope. That, a lot of great things we dropped in today for like a very simple episode because we're just super busy with everything happening around Ups and
Everything.
Bros, Max. So do you
Yeah.
have anything to add to this great and sweet, fantastic video except thanking our latest edition of Brazil fans or Brazil viewers?
Yeah, we did one collaboration. Well, I mean, you did one collaboration with a Brazilian blogger
Yeah.
over there. That's also a
Yeah.
brewer, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's not a brewer.
And now it just he's not a brewer.
No, he's,
okay.
he's actually works as a lawyer, and he's also a beer sommelier out there in Brazil. So he
That's awesome.
he's a teacher in beer.
Yeah, because I mean, I just looked at our numbers, and inside of a couple hours, we went from 0 subscribers or 0 more subscribers to like 150. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what happened
Yeah.
here? That was crazy. It was awesome. So hi to all of them. Also, I had a chance to see Craig on Saturday. He came by at Bench, and it was awesome to see you guys. The OS, the whole crew was awesome. We'll see you soon, I hope. And next time you're in town, Craig, let me know, man. That's all I have to say.
That's just great.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you in the next episode. Is that the usual line?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't
Usually
done one of these
you're
in
a bit
while.
more confident, but that's fine. You did it. You did it good. I guess
You
you're
know,
rusted.
it is what it is.
We're rusted a little bit. That's fine. Awkward thumbs ups.